It's not rocket science. The way poor people behave is completely different from the way rich people behave. One set of behaviors leads to poverty, and one set of behaviors leads to wealth and prosperity. What are the key differences? Well, here are the top 10 things poor people do that rich people don't. Number 10. Poor people watch a lot of TV. Poor people can tell you which celebrities are dating and which ones are feuding. They have multiple favorite shows on Netflix and Hulu, and they never miss an episode. Poor people also love talk shows and reality shows. In fact, a study by the University of Chicago found that 34% of families earning less than $9,000 per year watch more than 5 hours of television per day. Interestingly enough, despite spending hours every day watching television, when it comes to anything related to growth and self-improvement, like exercise, reading, or watching an educational video like the one you're watching right now, poor people will typically be quick to tell you that they don't have time. Number 9. Poor people eat fast food regularly. And when we say fast food, we're not talking about Chipotle or Panera. We're referring to deep-fried fast food found at places like McDonald's, Popeyes, and Burger King, including items like French fries and fried chicken. Hey look, we're all human, and we actually love the way fast food tastes. But nutritionally speaking, fast food is junk. And when you eat junk on a regular basis, you're most likely going to feel like junk, both physically and mentally. And that isn't the kind of physical state that is going to lead to being productive and building wealth. Rich people are not only less likely to eat fast food on a regular basis, but they are also more likely to engage in a consistent exercise routine, and this mentally and physically empowers them to create positive cash flow and financial prosperity. Number 8. Poor people spend a large percentage of their income on designer clothes, shoes, sneakers, handbags, and other accessories. Poor people would rather look rich than actually become rich. Going shopping for new clothes gives the poor a quick hit of dopamine. It's instant gratification, which is always going to be the easy thing to do. And that is exactly why so many people do it. And this may sound weird, but poor people tend to be more materialistic than rich people. They will be the first ones to blurt out that money doesn't buy happiness, yet that can't control their spending and can't help wasting all their money on meaningless stuff, just to keep up with the Joneses. Kind of ironic, don't you think? As Dave Ramsey once said, you must gain control over your money, or the lack of it will forever control you. Number 7. Poor people wake up later than rich people. We know this is going to trigger many people watching this video who are going to be quick to name people who wake up late and are rich. But the reality is, that is the exception, not the rule. And sure, there are plenty of poor people who wake up early, but this is usually only because they are forced to do their job. Rich people, on the other hand, are far more likely to voluntarily wake up early in order to exercise or do work on their business or side hustle. This is how rich people make progress, while poor people stay stuck and only get poorer. Number 6. Poor people believe that money is the root of all evil. This may be conscious, or more likely, it is an unconscious belief that poor people carry around with them. And if you believe money is the root of all evil, or that rich people are greedy jerks, then of course you're going to push money away, guaranteeing that you stay poor. To quote Napoleon Hill, our brains become magnetized with the dominant thoughts we hold in our minds, and by means with which no man is familiar. These magnets attract us to the forces, the people, and the circumstances of life, which harmonize with the nature of our dominant thoughts. Number 5. Poor people blame others. It's always someone else's fault. Their parents, their kids, their siblings. It's their boss's fault, or the government, or capitalism, or the economy, or the patriarchy. The one person they are unable to blame for being poor is themselves. It is as though someone forced them to watch 5 hours of Netflix and gorge themselves on junk food. Rich people refuse to blame others. They have high standards for themselves and won't resort to blaming someone else for their own failures. They take responsibility and move on, and this in turn leads to them making more money. Poor people are fixated on the idea that someone else should help them, yet they are unable to help themselves. Number 4. Poor people use credit card debt to fuel their consumer spending. The poor are so addicted to spending money that they can't resist using credit cards to buy even more stuff. And of course, this comes with interest, and the amount they end up paying for this stuff ends up multiplying over time. The bottom line is that the poor people spend more money before they get it. After all, who do you think uses payday loan services and cash advances? The rich know that the fees that come with these services are the equivalent of lighting money on fire. Number 3. Poor people believe they know it all. Whether it's opinions about politics, sports, celebrities, the government, or just life in general, poor people tend to be more opinionated than rich people. You see this on social media all the time. Chances are that if someone is willing to argue with an anonymous stranger, then you know they're poor. Rich people, in contrast, are open-minded. They genuinely want to learn. They are willing to consider another perspective. They ask questions, and they listen, hoping to learn something new. Number 2. Poor people surround themselves with poor people. This is, in fact, one of the biggest reasons poor people stay poor. Because let's face it, you are who you surround yourself with. To quote Dan Pena, "Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future." Poor people typically have the same friends they grew up with. They never expand their social circle or their horizons. Rich people know that they are shaped by the environment and who they are surrounded by. They do whatever it takes to put themselves in an environment that is conducive to success. Even if this means investing money in training or education, they constantly seek out new positive influences who can elevate their quality of life. And this, in turn, leads to elevating the quality of their bank account. Number 1. Poor people fail to follow through. Poor people typically talk a big game, but when push comes to shove, they are inconsistent and undependable. They usually have a history of making big announcements that are followed by little or no action. They say that they're going to start a new business, or lose 50 pounds, or start waking up early, or stop smoking, or move to a new city, or quit drinking. But at the end of the day, it was all just talk. Rich people are far from perfect, but when they commit to doing something, they follow through. They are disciplined enough to consistently show up and do the work for a long period of time until they begin getting results. And this creates momentum that compounds into even greater results, which eventually leads to wealth. All the while, the poor person is still spending hours a day watching Netflix and talking about what they're going to do. Did we miss anything? Comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out on any new and exclusive Top 10 content.